Hi, everyone. This is Maggie Clemens, owner and broker of One World Realty. And today I want to go over the San Diego real estate market stats taking us through November 30th of 2020. I'm going to share my screen here. And there we go. All righty. Let me get this out of the way. Not sure if you guys can see that. All righty. So every month I like to go over this report. This is called the Monthly Indicators Report. It is put out every single month by the Greater San Diego Association of Realtors. It is about a 15-page PDF. I whipped through it pretty darn quickly. So if you would like a copy of your own, just send me a text or an email and I'm happy to send you a copy of this. So just to highlight the points at this point, it says that the November, we saw the Dow Jones Industrial Average reach 30,000. It was a first. It has since hit that again. We also saw mortgage rates that reached new record lows again. One thing I have learned is never say never. I can remember telling my clients that we were never going to see mortgage rates down around the 3% range again. And not only have we seen it at 3%, but we're seeing it at record lows. So it has gone down low. Right now, we anticipate it staying low for the foreseeable future anyway. Real quickly, closed sales have decreased, pending sales have decreased, inventory has decreased, days on market has decreased, supply has decreased. The only thing that has gone up is the median price of the homes, and we're going to get into that. Also, it shows that this showing activity right now remains higher than it was at this same exact time last year. And the mortgage rates have a lot to do with that. So let's get into this. So this page here is only on the detached market. So that's single family homes. It doesn't include condos. It doesn't include townhomes. So let me get this up here. So what we're seeing here, this is, we'll just run over this real quick, historical spark bar. So this takes us 2 years. So November of 2018, we can see what the market was like in this particular category. And then through 19, and then it takes us all the way to the end of November of 2020. This column here deals with specifically that month, meaning the month of November 2019 as compared to the month of November of 2020. Where this column over here is a year to date, January 1, 2019 to November 30th of 2019, compared to January 1, 2020 to November 30th of 2020. So we'll be looking at this a lot because in real estate, it is very hard to tell what the trend is unless we're seeing what has happened in the past over 3 to 6 months. So we'll look at this one a lot. So let's take a look at this. Again, this is only single family homes. And in new listings here, we can see that I can remember in 2018 telling my clients that we might be finally hitting that saturation point where we're getting more homes on the market and less buyers. And what that was meaning at the time is that we were going to see a downward pressure on prices of homes. That did not end up materializing because you can see in 2019, we ended up getting, quite a bit of not as much inventory. So that means that we still had that supply and demand situation that we see playing out today through all of 2008 or 19, and then it's even worse coming into 2020. So new listings on the market for the month of November was down 34.8% and down 19.3% for the year to date. Pending sales was down for the month 16.6%, but only down 5.3%. So what we're seeing here is that shortage of that lack of inventory, but now we're seeing a lot more buyers out on the market because of the low mortgage rate. And, the current situation with health, people are trying to move out, maybe get into bigger places, looking for places that can accommodate the kids, can accommodate home offices, home gyms, and that kind of stuff. So we see that the pending sales, while it is down year to date, it's not down as significantly as we would have thought with the inventory the way it is and the current health situation. Closed sales is always going to be lagging on pending because it got to go into pending first and then it goes into closing. Some will fall out, but very few do, especially in this market. So we see this little bit of a lag right here. And for year to date, it is down 8.5%. We'll see in January what the whole year looks like. Medium sales price, this has gone up. So for the month of November, it's up 13.5%, but for the entire year, it's up almost 10%, 9.5%. So in 2020, single family homes by and large have increased in price almost 10% at 9.5%. And that is about 706,000. So that's an enormous amount of money for a single family home. And it's intimidating for first time buyers. We do have the average sales price, which is up 11.8, but we tend to look at the medium sales price. For those of you who are just now joining me, a medium sales price is, at this case, is 706. So at 706,000, 50% of the homes sold were higher than that, and 50% of the homes sold were lower than that. Where on an average sales price, they combine all of this prices, and then they divide it by the number sold and then come up with this average. So that's why we have a tendency to look at the medium. This gives us a better indication here. The dollar volume of closed sales, this is interesting. So for the month of November, it was down, but year to date, we are actually up 2.7%. So we've had some rocky months in there, but overall for the year, the dollar percent is up. So we're not selling as many homes, but we're selling them for more money, and that's bringing their money in that way. Percentage of original price received. So we can see for the month of November, it was actually up 2.9% to 100.2%. What that means is that if I put a home on the market for $100,000, that it is selling in this month for $100,200. So it's selling over list price. Year to date, we're at 99%, which is still plus 1.7 from last year. But we're seeing that trend come up, and that has to do with the lack of inventory and the amount of buyers. So people are bidding up the prices. Days on market for the month, it's down 43.8% to 18 days. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in December. But what that is saying is that, right now, single family homes, once they're on the market, they're only on the market for 18 days before they're put into pending status. It is 25 days for the entire year. But as we know, we've had some bumpy months here going into the year. Affordability here is down slightly to 52%, and overall for the year, it's about average. And the reason is that you would think with the home prices going up so much that affordability would be worse. But what's happened is the low interest rates have kind of leveled that out and reversed it a little bit. Inventory of homes on the market for the month of November was down. Check this out. This is amazing. This is, like I said, in 2018, we were thinking that we were getting more inventory and that things were going to start leveling out. But that not only did not happen in 2019, but it got much worse in 2020. And so for the month of November, we only had 2,733 single family homes on the market in San Diego County. That's down 49.3% from last year. And last year was a month of low inventory. We used to predict that a normal month in prior to 2008 was when we had about 16,000 homes on the market. That has never happened in the 11 years that I've been in real estate. So it looks like it's going to be a little bit longer here. And then the month supply of inventory. You can see that we were starting to get up there in 2018, which is why we were saying that we might be finally settling into a normal market. But then it just continued to drop through 2019 and 20. And for the month of November, we were at 1.1 months, which is down 45%. So what that means is that if not another home comes on the market, we will be totally sold out of inventory in 1.1 month. Not many homes on the market. So this is, I'm going to run through this pretty quickly, but this is attached homes only. This is condos and townhomes only. And we can see that it had the volatility in in all of these areas, just like they did here, but maybe not as much. So new listings for November was down 29.3%. Year to date, we're down 9.7%. Pending sales is down for the month, but is not, it's almost flat. It's almost even for year to date comparing 2019 with 2020. Closed sales is down just a little bit. We'll see that come up again next month. Medium home price, it did go up for condos and townhomes like it did for single family homes, but it only went up 7.8% as compared to 9.5 for single family homes, and a little bit higher here on the average sale price. Dollar volume of closed sales, we can see it was up for November and also up for year to date. So we're not selling as much, but because the prices have gone up, then the dollar volume has actually gone up. Percentage of original price received in the month of November, we didn't quite hit 100%, which we did in single family homes, but we're very close, 99.4%, which is an increase of 1.7 for the month and 1.2 for the year. Days on market for the month in November, it is 21 days on market, where the year to date is at 25. So even it's a little bit higher than what single family homes are, but still you can expect to sell your home very quickly if you have a condo and a townhome. Affordability has gone up slightly, and that's because we're seeing those prices go up. And the inventory of homes is dropped from the month of November of 2019 to the month of November of 2020, down 31%. We can see here, look at this. It's like barely a blip, where over here we had a little bit more. And then month supply of inventory is slightly higher than single family homes, and it's at 1.4. So if not another condo or townhouse comes on the market, we will be totally sold out of that inventory in less than 1.5 months. So I'm going to quickly go through these next slides. Again, I want to remind you, if it's something that you'd like to see in a little more depth, just send me off an email or a text, and I'm happy to send you this entire thing for you to pour over. What I like about these pages here is that it shows us a lot of information. So this is the month of November. The blue is single family homes. The red are attached. And we can see, what happened in 2018, 19, and 20. And so new listings is way, way down. And then the year to date, it's still way, way down here. Not quite as far down on the attached homes. This little area over here kind of gives us a 12-month average. So the month here is in November, but this gives us an average on new listings is for detached is down 18.9, and for attached homes, it's down 9.3. Now I love this graph because this shows us that we go through this every single year. Every single December, it drops. So the number of new listings coming on the market starts to drop. Let's see, this is December. December, November, October. So September, October, we start to see those, the number of new listings coming on the market dropping every single year. This goes back to 2012. So this is not a surprise to us. This is where I was talking that it's better to see the trend over time so that we don't get, as wrapped up in the numbers. And we can see here 2018, we started to peak up here, and then boom, it went down. 2019, we struggled, and then it went down even more. And then 2020, everything changed in 2020, not because of the market, but because of the health situation, because of lockdowns, because we have a crazy election that is still going on, and we're just like treading water, and we can see that reflected here in 2020. And then this was in September. No, this was in August. We started to see a sharp decline here. So what I see when I look like this is that yes, we are going into our seasonally downturn, but it is downturning a little bit more than it has in years gone by. Pending sales, not going to really go over this. We can see that, we've had a great year. Everything that's come on the market is pretty much selling. And then here we've dropped, and that's largely because of the lack of inventory here. Closed sales, we can see that closely mimics the pendant sales. Median sales price. So we can see over 2018, 19, and 20, how much the single family home has gone up and how much the condos and townhomes have gone up. Year to date, we see that it's just not as drastic as it was for the month. The 12-month rolling average is plus 8.5 for detached and plus 7.8 for attached. This chart here is interesting. It just keeps going up, 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 up. Now, this is one of the, we're starting to not see what happened in 2008. So those numbers are not a part of this chart. Sometimes I wish it was so we can see the difference, but we can see that we are going up in our home prices. Average sales prices also going up. Dollar volumes. This is how much dollar volume is from the closed sales. We can see in 2018, this is where it started to dip a little bit. Then it went back up due to a lack of inventory in 2019 and has come down slightly in 2020. And in attached, it's just gone up. But we can see in year to date, it just has gone up and stayed relatively the same for attached. Even though the rates have gone down, we've made it up in the purchase prices going up. And then the dollar volume, we can see it's gone up. And then here over the last couple of months, it's gone down. Again, lack of inventory. Percentage of original price that has been received has been pretty consistent over the last 3 years. It's just, a point or two difference in the month and then also in the year to date. So it's, detached homes, it's 1.8% and attached, it's 1.2. But this does show this is as we were climbing out of the recession. This is, and we were getting over, this is when people were like, okay, now's the time to buy. The prices are the lowest. We were getting over what the list price were. And then that started to come down a little bit. And now we're back up to getting, close to list or over. Days on market, we know are going down for the month. Year to date, it's come down to 25 on both attached and detached. And we can just see this kind of going up and down. Here we got, in 2018, and then it just kind of dropped. Housing affordability has, it's come down a little bit because of the mortgage rate, but then over the years, it's coming up because of the price. So this, we're going to have to keep a very close eye on it because San Diego people want to live in San Diego. The problem is that it's not easy to afford to live in San Diego. And so this is a very big number for us. And since the Great Recession, 2008, we've seen this drop down a little bit, start to come up again, and then now it's dropped down a little bit. Inventory of homes for sale. This is our Achilles heel here. If we had more inventory, we would be selling it, but likely the more inventory would put downward pressure on sales price. So it's one of those catch-22s. And obviously I've showed you every year we go through this where we start to slow down in this time of year. So it is not surprising. What will be surprising or what we need to keep an eye on is what happens in January. Likely it's going to go up. How much it's going to go up. That will be the interesting thing here. So where are we? Inventory of homes has dropped down. You can see just continues to drop down here. And now's a good time to sell. Month supply of inventory is 1.1 months for single family homes and 1.4 for detached. And we're seeing, on a 12-month average, it's 55% off and for detached and 36% off for a attached. And we can see here what it's been doing. We started to pick up inventory and then it's just dropped here. So here's the total market overview. So this includes everything, detached and single family homes, or single family homes and attached, which is the condos. And I'm just going to run over the year to date. New listings here, we are minus 16.2 year to date. Pending sales down 3.9. Closed sales down 7.3. We'll see that number come up a little bit next month. Median sales price for both combined is $630,000. The dollar percentage of closed sales. The dollar volume is up 2.6 for the year. Percentage of original price received is up 1.6. Days on market is 25 for both, which is a negative almost 22%. And affordability index is up slightly at 1.6 because those prices are going up. And homes for sale, 4515 is a minus 43.5, and month supply of inventory. So just to put that in perspective for you, San Diego County has 3.3 million residents here. People are constantly moving in and going out. 4,500 homes is, we should be sitting at what a normal market was, which I have not seen since I've been in the real estate business since 2010. We should be sitting at about 16,000 homes for sale, and we are sitting at 45. Which means that if not another home comes on the market, we will be totally sold out of inventory in 1.2%. So that is our market overview, taking us through November 30th of 2020. So we're going to keep an eye on the market. If you're thinking of selling, now is a really good time to sell. And if you're thinking of buying, it's not a bad time to buy either, with the mortgage rates the way that they are. So I just closed here's an example. I closed a listing the other day. We were about $50,000 over where we were last year, where we would have been last year, and yet the monthly payment was a little bit less. So don't be afraid, if you're a buyer, to get out there and find a property. And if you are thinking of selling, there's a good time to sell, and there's a bad time to sell. If you're thinking of selling and don't have a place to go, then we might want to have a further discussion because of that lack of inventory. It's going to affect you on the buy side. But if you're thinking of selling and moving closer to the kids or moving out of the San Diego area, it might be a really good time to sell. So that is my report for November through November 30th of 2020. I will see you next month, which is January in 2021. Take care, and thanks for watching.